Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Sost, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Gig Economy Lounge. Today is going to be an action-packed day. This is going to be the first of 2 podcasts that I'm going to do in one day. So today's episode is all about the speculation or the news article that came out on CNET.com about Uber testing out or possibly testing out a new feature in the app that's going to potentially allow riders to favorite drivers. Now, this is something that I've wanted for a really long time. However, I believe that it's coming because of the bad experiences that are semi-isolated, but are increasing to the point to where Uber is going to start apparently allowing riders to favorite drivers. Now, does that mean that if the rider requests a ride, they can do, favorites only? I don't believe so. I truly believe that Uber is going to incorporate this the best way they can into the current algorithm. So I'm going to give a brief example. Let's just say there's 10 drivers within 5 minutes of a rider requesting a ride. Let's just say it's at their house. And that passenger has one of those 10 drivers as a favorited driver. What's going to happen, what I believe is going to happen, and everybody's going to speculate, but what I believe is going to happen is that favorite driver will receive the request because it's one of 10 drivers within 5 minutes. Uber will pick the threshold of, the amount of time, the radius for a pickup. And obviously Uber is all about the shortest pickup time. So 5 minutes seems reasonable. So, out of those 10 drivers, one of them is favorited. They hit the request button and they have favorited drivers selected. What's going to happen is that favorited driver is going to get the request, go pick them up, and go on them out their merry way. Now, let's just look at the same scenario, 10 drivers within 5 minutes, and none of those drivers have been favorited by the rider. Then I believe that rider is just going to get one of those 10 drivers that's closest. Like I said, Uber is going to protect the length of time people are waiting for rides because they do have a competitor. They have Lyft. Now, everybody will talk about all the other competitors. They only have really one competitor, that's Lyft. So, if I'm constantly getting drivers that are 10, 15 minutes away, I'm going to open up the Lyft app and I'm going to see if there's a Lyft driver closer. So Uber has to continually be mindful of that time competition that they have with their competitor. So I find it really interesting that they're finally doing this because I am one of those drivers that since the very beginning, since 2014, I have built a book of clientele or riders that wanted to request me directly. And for the longest time, they would send me a text or send me an email. They send me a text 99.9% of the time. The other 0.01% of the time, they turned around and called me. I don't think I've ever received an email, to tell you the truth. They say, hey, I'm going to the airport Monday morning at 4 a.m. Can you pick me up? I just send back yes. Monday morning comes. I show up at 3:55. They walk out. They get in the car. We sync up on the Uber app, and we are on our way. Now, depending on where the pickup is, that pairing could be tricky. So if you're way out in the suburbs, the rider can be the one, requesting the ride on their phone, and you turn around, you accept it, no big deal. Sometimes if you're in a little bit more of a dense area, there's been numerous occasions where I've actually just asked for their cell phone, and I'm very transparent. I'm really good at the pairing aspect of it. I've done it a lot. So anytime I get a new client or somebody that's not quite sure how to do the request in a synchronized manner, I'll just say, hey, would you like for me to pair us up? And they just, yeah, here. And, they hand you their phone, and then, you just do the pairing. You get the request, you accept it, you hand them their phone back, and you're on your merry way. I believe that this right here, this feature, if they allow it to roll out, will greatly advantage drivers with that kind of a strategy. I mean, obscenely advantage. Now, don't get me wrong, since I am doing this podcast and I don't know how many listens it'll ever get, hopefully it gets very few, simply because, I want to milk this new feature for as long as they'll allow it. For me, I know that I make significantly more money on rides that I have pre-planned than I do on the overwhelming vast majority of on-demand requests. Like, it's not even close. My current book of clientele tips on average between $10 to $15. It's somewhere in between there because I have a few clients that tip $20, I have a few that tip 10, and then there's some that, tip 15. So it's somewhere between that. The average is between $10 and $15 tips per ride. And now, since I have upgraded my vehicle, they also request me on Selector Lux. So once again, it's another increase. So for me to go out on a Monday morning and make $150 is really easy, simply because, I have a book of clientele. I have people that want me directly. So for drivers that would like to have riders, ride with them again, I believe that this feature will assist you in doing that. Is it going to be foolproof? Is it going to be fully customizable? Absolutely fucking not. Now, I'm sure there will be things built into it. Obviously, it's in testing now. So over time, they'll smooth the edges off. And I believe that, certain drivers, if you're favorited, I think you'll be alerted that a rider made you a favorite driver. And I do believe you'll have the ability at some point in time to go ahead and deny that. So let's just say they really liked you, but you really didn't like them because they didn't tip, or, they smelled bad, or they just have bad manners, or it doesn't matter. But you as a customer service person went above and beyond anyways. So they really liked you, but you didn't like them. I believe you'll have the ability to go ahead and ex-nay that favorite. I don't want to ride with that person again. And, those drivers out there that just want on-demand requests, I don't believe that this will inhibit you. So I think that this is going to give riders a better overall experience that is looking for it without really messing with, what the driver does on a daily basis. So if you just wake up, turn on the app, and go wherever the rides take you, I don't believe that this feature will hurt you in any which way. I think you'll continue to do that. The only potentially bad thing is, let's just say a rider, let's just say riders really take to this idea. I believe that the best drivers, the ones being favorited, will get more requests than, the non-favorited drivers. Consequently, I believe that will happen. It'll be tied to ratings, right? So, if you have bad ratings as a driver, or less than optimal, I'm not going to say bad, but let's just less than optimal, then, chances are, you're seeing fewer requests anyways than the average driver that, has done 5,000 trips and is, a 4.93 or a 4.97. This feature will only aid riders to have better experiences. So, so here's another thing. So let's just say you are a 4.7, 4.75, or 4.8, 4.69, whatever the number is. I believe that this feature will actually help you get higher ratings. So let's just say you drive in a college town somewhere. I don't know, Tallahassee, Florida, because that's the town that's the market that ruined my rating. And since moving away from Tallahassee and Gainesville, Florida, my rating has significantly increased. But, having this feature and having, you saying, okay, I'm a 4.75, whatever, and you start to do better and you start getting favorited by riders, well, what's the chances of somebody favoriting you and not giving you 5 stars? Think about that. What's the chances that somebody would favorite you as a driver and not give you 5 stars? Pretty slim to none. So in this instance, I believe that this can actually help drivers who have gotten adverse ratings by certain riders, thus, shielding you, because you'll be getting more requests from more favorited riders as they, as you build, the list of riders' accounts that you are now favorited on. I believe that this will help you along the way. So I truly think this is a win-win all around. I do believe that this highlights an underlying issue that Uber doesn't want to directly challenge or directly, face head on, which is the dwindling customer experience. Now, there will be people out there that in certain markets that say that, if you order an Uber X ride in this market, you should be used to subpar service, and I totally reject that. I believe that drivers who consistently keep their cars clean will start to see more requests, not less requests. And I believe drivers that neglect their vehicles or neglect their personal hygiene will see less and less rides. So this is going to be sort of a way that it's going to be a market-based natural selection process. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, this opens them up to a discrimination lawsuit. Not necessarily. I believe the way that Uber is going to roll this out, they're only going to be able to favorite a driver. That doesn't mean that they'll be able to pick that driver specifically. That just means that they're adding them to a favorites list. And if that person that's on their favorites list happens to be within a certain parameter online and available, they'll receive the request over a non-favorited driver in the same area that's available. So, I do believe that their legal team is top notch in terms of shielding them from discrimination lawsuits. Well, not from shielding them against being sued, but against judgment, I guess is a better way to say it. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you find this information valuable, you can you can subscribe, you can share, you can do all those things. If you don't disagree, or if you do disagree, if you don't like what I have to say, please put your comments in the comment section below. I want to hear them. Everybody else wants to hear your disagreements as well. So thank you very much and have a great day.